யாதும் ஊரே யாவரும் கேடீர்.
செம்மொழி வலையொலி யூடியூப் சேனல். இந்த சேனலின் மூலமாக, அந்த வலையொலியின் மூலமாக பல்வேறு தகவல்களை தினந்தோறும் நாங்கள் வழங்கி கொண்டிருக்கக்கூடிய அந்த நிலையில் சிலப்பதிகாரம் என்ற தலைப்பில் ஒவ்வொரு பகுதியாக வழங்கக்கூடிய அந்த தொகுப்பை முழுமையாக கண்டு பார்க்கலாம்.
முன்னினாரெல்லாம் பின்னுறக் காலினின் முடிகி நின்னில் யானது விளக்குவன் என உரை நேரா மின்னும் வேலினை விண்ணவர் கண் புதைத்து இறங்க பொன்னின் மார்பிடை ஏற்றனன் முதுகிடை போக. Beholding his brother, O Lord, said Raman, the courage which gives up life to protect those who rely on them is a distinguishing trait of the Raghava race. O thou adorned by a garland of Tulasi, thou hast dared to do this, but though it be an act worthy of thee, it is not peculiar to thee. இளவலை நோக்கி ஐய ராகவ குலத்துக்கேற்ற விளவிதம் அடைந்தோர் தாங்கி மண்ணுயிர் கொடுக்கும் வன்மை துளவியல் தொங்கலாய் நீ அன்னது துணிந்தாய் என்றால் அளவியது அன்று செய்தற்கு அடுப்பதே ஆகும் அன்றே. Even he, the divinely virtuous, who for the sake of a dove slashed his body until it became one wound, was not equal to thee. What other thing remains there than to be spoken of in the way of comparison? Those who are justly called benevolent, when they behold the affliction of their friends, are like the cow and her calf. புற ஒன்றின் யாக்கை புன்னுற அறிந்த புத்தேள் அரவனும் ஐய நின்னை நிகர்கிலன் அப்பால் நின்ற பிறவின் உரைப்பது என்னே பேரருளார் என்பார் கறவையும் கன்றும் ஒப்பார் தமக்கு இடர் காணில் என்றான். This poem states that for all earthly beings there is no virtue superior to love has naturally been Elisa's choice. To corporeal beings of bone and skin, or to incorporeal beings divested of all sensual taint, the cause of burning enmity, is there anything in the three worlds, either first or last, superior to affection? என்பு தோல் உடையார்க்கும் இல்லாதார்க்கும் தம் வன் பகைப்புலன் மாசர வாய்ப்பதேன் முன்பு பின்பு இன்றி மூவகைத்தினும் அன்பின் அல்லாதோர் ஆக்கம் உண்டாகுமோ. The poems of Kamban's epic on the virtues required of great epics, great kings, being comparable to Valluvar's couplets on the same subject, are brought to the reader's attention by Ellis. About the kings, Kamban, about the kings. He who bears the whirling disc, that is Vishnu, he who is distinguished by the forked weapon, that is Sivan, and the husband of the intelligent Vani, that is Brahma, if these three are divested of wisdom, virtue, equity and mercy, what else would remain to them? உருளும் நேமியும் ஒன்கவர் எக்கமும் மருளில் வாணியும் வல்லவர் மூவர்க்கும் தெருளும் நல்லறமும் மனச்செம்மையும் அருளும் நீத்தபின் ஆவது உண்டாகுமோ. If a prince be courteous in words, liberal in gifts, worthy of esteem, pure in all his actions, revered, victorious, and strictly adhere to the path of equity, can he ever be ruined? இனிய சொல்லினன் ஈகையன் எண்ணினன் வினையில் தூயன் விழுமியன் வென்றியன் நினையும் நீதி நெறி கடவான் எனின் அணைய மன்னர்க்கு Azhivu undam kolo. Is there any time in which the good expect protection, except when princes, forsaking all that is contrary to right, and as steady as the tongue of a gold weighing balance, support the world? சீலம் அல்லன நீக்கி செம்பொன் துளை தாழுவண்ண தனிநிலை தாங்கிய ஞால மன்னர்க்கு நல்லவர் நோக்கிய காலம் அல்லது கண்ணும் உண்டாகுமோ? Kings who are as the souls of the world and as bodies supporting all other souls without doubt are not deficient in virtue, for when confirmed in true benevolence are sacrifices necessary. வையம் மண்ணுயிர் ஆக அம்மண்ணுயிர் உய்யத் தாங்கும் உடலன்ன மன்னருக்கு ஐயமின்றி அறம் கடவாது அருள் மெய்யில் நின்றபின் வேள்வியும் வேண்டுமோ? Bharadan, the second son of Dasarathan, in order to satisfy Kausalai, imprecates a severe retribution on himself if he has been privy to the practices of his mother Kaigeyi against Raman. This moving statement is couched in an exquisite stanza by Kamban. May that station in hell be mine, which is merited by the cravens who abandon to distress and affliction, women of delightful converse, the companions of their way, or by the gluttons who eat by themselves while others hunger around them. ஆறு தன்னுடன் வரும் அம்சல் மாதரை ஊறுகொண்டு அலைக்க தன் உயிர்கொண்டு ஏகினோன் சோறு தன் அயலுளோர் பசிக்க துய்த்து உணோன் ஏறிய கதியிடை யானும் ஏறவே. That a Western scholar like F.W. Ellis, well versed in various literatures, classical and modern, has chosen to highlight the merits of Kamba Ramayanam in this manner is enough to show that it is a world classic of unparalleled eminence. Many of the observations made by George Hart in the introduction to his translation of the Forest Book of Kamban's epic bear ample testimony to the truth that it is one of the three best epics deserving a prominent place in world literature. About the relationship between Kamban's work and its main source, that is Valmiki's Ramayana, George Hart writes, where Valmiki is secular, Kamban is religious. Kamban is where Valmiki uses simple language, Kamban is complex. Where Valmiki often uses imagery with a little care to make it for context, each image of Kamban's is carefully crafted, and where the flow of Valmiki tends to be a bit monotonous, Kamban endows his story with a dynamic movement and change that are characteristic of the Tamil tradition. He utterly changed the literature of Tamil, which is one of the richest literatures in the world. After his time, George Hart says, after Kamban's time, no writer could ignore him or escape his influence, and too many attempted to imitate him slavishly. Contending that Kamban's work differs not only in style and tone, but also in many narrative details, George Hart mentions the following instance. In Valmiki, Rama is not a god except in later interpolated sections, but a human hero of superhuman abilities. In the 16th century Hindi work, that is Tulsidasa's Ramayana, the cult of Rama as an avatar of Vishnu pervades the text completely. Rama is fully aware of himself as the ultimate divinity, and the other characters are generally conscious of it as well. In Kamban, Rama's status is more complex. Again and again, he is recognized as an incarnation of Vishnu by those who meet or confront him, but Rama rarely shows a direct awareness of himself as the supreme God. He is capable even of despair, and the psychological depth of Kamban's Ramayana is greatly enhanced by Rama's paradoxical conception of himself as an ordinary human being. With regard to the language employed by Kamban, Hart observes that it is very different from Sanskrit. The medieval Tamil of Kamban has great literary predecessors in the poems of Sangam age, the Silappadigaram and other early Tamil epics and the hymns of the Saiva and Vaishnava saints. Such works embodied and passed on an aesthetic with strong realistic elements, great visual delicacy combined with naturalistic precision and a tropical density of imagery and emotional oscillation. One special feature of Tamil literature identified by George Hart is the rapid alternation of emotions, sometimes swinging from one extreme to another in the brief space of a short Sangam poem or a few stanzas of Kamban or even within a single stanza. In the following stanza, for example, Rama responds with wonder to the spectacle of the mutilated Surpanaga, identifying herself as the beautiful woman who had visited him the day before. Was it you walking here yesterday like the goddess Sri on her lotus, full of honey, with your long dark eyes like lovely fishes? When a woman has lost her nipples, her ears with their earrings, her nose like a vine, O king, with handsome eyes, isn't her beauty destroyed? The stanza moves through three different colorings of emotion, from Rama's lush image of wonder and memory to Surpanaga's grim realism, also on Kamban's part grim humor, which encloses within it a vocative glittering with lust and admiration. Unlike Valmiki's, Kamban's descriptions of emotions are unrestrained. Ravana's love sickness in Padalam 7 covers 87 stanzas involving 7 sequences in different meters, moving from the initial rising of desire into first frenzy. It couldn't be calmed. His love was growing by hundreds and hundreds of leaps. The flowers on his soft bed, though moistened by the cooling drops of water from the fragrant north wind, turned black. His arms that had defeated the 8 elephants of space, and his body grew thin. His heart weakened. His life caught on fire. He says, death will come to me right now if I cannot win what I wish to be mine. Mercy, the true kind, from Sita, who has black eyes like spears. Bring my ministers, he said, with their capacity for judging what is to be done next. The way his mind was, he could not tell touch or sound or any of his senses one from another. Not knowing what to do, just as a desire might bind and draw him into entering another body in another birth, he came and entered the pavilion. Besides his psychological acumen, Kamban shows enormous sensitivity in the fitting of meter to emotional tone and content. There are usually very clear reasons for rhythmic choices, and the points at which rhythms change serve important dramatic and mood shifting purposes. Rhythm in Kamban, George Hart says, rhythm in Kamban is both story and music. In addition to initial rhyme, Kamban can use alliterations in a remarkable manner. Panji olir vinju kulir pallavam anunga செஞ்செவிய கஞ்சம் நிமிர் சீரடியல் ஆகி அம்சொல் இள மங்கை என அன்னமென மின்னும் விஞ்சியென நஞ்சமென வஞ்சமகள் வந்தாள். All the loveliness of bright and cotton and cool shoots were shamed by her as she moved on her small feet like graceful red lotuses, with words that were sweet like a young peacock, a wild goose, a swaying vanji wine like poison, the wily woman came. அனைவியில் திங்களை நுங்க அராவினை கொணர்வன் ஓடி என கொதித்து உண்ணுவாள். பனையின் மென்முலை மேல் பனி மாருதம் புணர ஆருயிர் வெந்து புழுங்குவாள். Angrily she thought, I will run and bring the snake, able to swallow down that moon which is beyond my reach. And her precious life was burning at the touch of a cool wind to her large, soft, sweet breast, and she was seething. கைகளால் தன் கதிர் இளங்கொங்கை மேல் ஐய தன்பணி அள்ளினள் அப்பினாள். மொய்கொள் தீயிடை வெந்து முருங்கிய வெய்ய பாறையில் வெண்ணெய் நிகர்க்குமால். She scooped up handfuls of ice, miraculously cool, and placed them down on her young radiant breasts, but they were no better than butter that would melt away, laid out on a hot ledge with a fire blazing around it. Comparing Kamban with the four Western authors, that is Homer, Virgil, Dante and Milton, George Hart identifies some of the unique features of Kamban's aesthetic and the nature of his epic. He feels that it is to the work of Virgil that Kamban's voice can perhaps be most fruitfully compared. Stylistically, the Baroque density of Kamban's Tamil resembles the elaborate mosaic arrangements of Virgil's Latin, effects that cannot be reproduced given our lack of inflections in English, in even the finest of English translations. In Book 6 of the Aeneid, Aeneas is led by the doves of Venus to the tree that holds the golden bough. And here is the stanza from Aeneid. And they fed and then flew on. It is about the doves, each time as one who came behind could keep in view. Then when they reached the gorge of sulphurous Avenus, first borne upward through the lucent air, they glided down to their desired rest, the two-hued tree where glitter of gold filtered between green boughs. The flight of Jadayu, the vulture king, has in the Tamil some of the same verbal density and visual glow, the way Kamban describes this bird. உருக்கிய சுவனம் ஒத்து உதயத்து உச்சி சேர் அருக்கனில் அகலிடத்து அலங்கு திக்கு எல்லாம் தெரிப்புறு செரிசுடர் சிகையினால் திசை விரித்து இருந்தனன் என விளங்குவான் தனை. He shone as if the young sun were rising, all molten gold, over the peak of the eastern mountain, where it had spread out its wings through the shining directions of the air, its bright mass of rays lighting up this wide earth. முந்து ஒரு கருமலை முகட்டு முன்றிலின் சந்திரன் ஒளியோடு தழுவச் சார்த்திய அந்தமில் கணைகடல் அமரர் நாட்டிய மந்திரகிரி என வயங்குவான் தனை. Floating near the dark peak of a mountain, he was gleaming before them as if the light of the moon had been brought together with and then fastened to Mount Manthara by the gods for their churning stick fixed in the endless roaring ocean. In George Hart's view, Kamban resembles Virgil in his note of morality merged with psychological insight. When Sita asked Lakshmana to go in search of Rama, he is very reluctant to do it, but finally, against his better judgment, he leaves Sita. In this action, he resembles Aeneas, a Virgil's Aeneid, who often experiences tormented soul searching. In Kamban's Ramayana, eloquence says, "If I stay here, she will not be, she will die in the fire. And if I should go to him like an immovable mountain, evil will arrive without fail and unfold. What should I do, who seem to have some great desire for my dear life?" And he wept. If the god Dharma is able, he will make it come out well rather than have her die. I will dare to do this, leaving her here and going. I am an ignorant man, he says. I feel this suffering because I was born because of actions in some other life. But in his capacity for suddenly switching gears, a swift turn to comedy, for instance, in the midst of such scenes of extreme emotion, Kamban differs from Virgil. Surpanakha is treated humorously at times in the midst of her love sickness. In the Padalam on Kara, during the slaughter of Asuras by Rama, the following humorous stanza appears. Some ran hard and cut their way into the wound in the belly of a great rutting elephant and entered that giant cave and lifted their hands over their heads, entreating a headless corpse nearby to protect them. Friend, they were saying, if Rama comes, tell him you haven't seen us. T.P. Meenakshi Sundaran makes an excellent use of Sri Aurobindo's profound concept of poetic inspiration, which according to him can hail from one of the following planes. Number 1, the subtle physical. 2, the vital. 3, the creative intelligence. 4, the inner mind. 5, the psychic. 6, the higher mind. 7, the illumined mind. 8, the intuition mind. 9, the over mind. Keeping this concept in mind, TPM identifies the ancient Tamil text in the following manner. He says, for the poetry of intuition, the Sangam Aham poem is an ideal example, as it reveals a particular moment in the drama of human love with all its depth, and by a lightning flash displays a simple scene with an entire and miraculous completeness of vision. And its rhythm has a decisive, inevitable sound which leaves nothing essential. For the poetry of higher thoughts, there are numerous examples in Valluvar's Tirukkural. Each of the great couplets is a well-chiseled diamond of multifaceted brilliance, revealing a mystic vision, and it is characterized by austerity and miserliness of words. Kamba Ramayana offers a supreme example of the poetry of the illumined mind, since in that great work, the outflow of illumined mind comes in a flood of revealing words or a flight of crowding images. From the Nayanmars and Alvars, we get the poetry of the over mind, using a language which carries in it a great depth of spiritual vision and experience. In this essay, the great Tamil scholar TPM quotes a number of stanzas from Kamban to prove his thesis that Kamban's poetry is the poetry of the illumined mind. The shadow puppet performances in Kerala finally reveal how deeply Kamban's work has entered into the substance of South Indian society and how great the reverence of the common people for Kamban is to this day. The performance consists of about 2000 verses from Kamban's epic. As the performers sing the verses and narrate the commentary, they sit behind a screen and manipulate leather puppets whose shadows are visible on the other side. These performances, as stated by Stuart Blackburn, are held as part of the annual festival in over 100 temples in the central districts of Kerala and conducted for the goddess Bhagavati. This also is a great reflection upon the greatness of Kamban's Ramayana. Thank you.